It's your daily dose of Donna. Welcome to the show. Today is Thursday, July 18th. We've made it to the second half of the week, the latter part of the week. Some say it's a happy day because it's Friday Eve. And what is Friday? Friday is Saturday Eve. But you guys, also tomorrow, Friday, I will be hosting my happy hour on Zoom for my Patreon Overdose members. Make sure to join Patreon. The link is all below, and you can join us tomorrow. Bring a cocktail, bring a topo, bring a cup of coffee, some tea. We're about to talk the tea tomorrow at 5 p.m. Pacific for 1 hour. We usually go a little over, but it's such a fun group of people. I know it's summertime. I know people are traveling all over the place. So I will be happy to see any of you guys that are available. Make sure to sign up for Patreon. You can even upgrade to the overdose level just for one time. See if you like it. And then you can stick around if you want to stay there. Also, we're going to be doing another members only on YouTube next week. Let's plan on doing it on Tuesday. I think I'll do it Tuesday the 23rd because I'm going out of town on the 24th after the show. So let's plan on doing it Tuesday. I look forward to that. Make sure you join the members. We had so much fun last time. Okay, that was just a little homework. Had to do it. Check, because today, y'all, we have such a crazy, huge, full show. It's actually kind of scary how many news stories I have to go over with you. And I was thinking about it. I was like, do I want to go through everything or is it too much? And I'm like, it's never too much. It's never enough is really what the truth is, right? It's never enough. We always need to continue to, really do the Lord's work. And by the Lord's work, I mean, give you guys all the updates. So you only just have to hit up Daily Dose of Donna once. This is your one and done show. It's like a one stop. I'm basically your local AM PM. You know what I mean? Like you come here, you get your fuel, you get your tea, you get some laughs, you get some friends, some socializing, probably a souvenir, maybe a bag of chips. Who knows? Who knows? So everyone, thank you so much for being here. We've got to get right into it because we have so much to talk about, all on today's Daily Dose of Donna. Mark says, I don't believe that you've cleared any vacations with us, Donna. And the truth is, I apologize. Please don't fire me. And as Mark also says, please visit the Daily Dose of Donna gift shop on your way out. There's a lot of really fun things. You can get some Bethany keychains. I'm selling out on those, you guys. They're divine. Okay. Let's get into the show. We have so much to talk about. Let's just hit up some small stories first before we get into the big ones, because I literally don't know where to start, but let's get started. In the weirdest, strangest news story of today, which literally I think is the weirdest, strangest news stories, is the story about Brad Pitt. When I saw this, I did a double take. I said to myself, this can't be real life. Is this real life? But yes, the headline of the article is Brad Pitt's girlfriend, Inez de Ramon, has changed his smelly ways. Yes, that's true. Brad Pitt, allegedly, according to this article, is smelly. Now, this is very out of character for when you think about Brad Pitt. Actually, you know what? Now that I think about it, I do think he probably smells. Look, I'm not going to give you my source, okay? I'm not going to give you my source. But I do know someone who has worked with that family. Okay. This person has told me that there is a severe, and this is alleged, this is just gossip at this point. Allegedly, this man, BP, and by BP, I don't mean butt plug, I mean Brad Pitt, is incredibly, he's a hot mess drinker. Okay. Big drinker, Big. Now, we've heard this over the years. We heard the plane incident between him and Angelina and their kids, and there was like some crazy stuff happening there. I think that this is actually based in truth. I think he does have a little bit of a wild side, and it's not probably the best, but the smelling part is where I draw the line. If you're a drinker, I'm not a big fan of big drinkers, obviously, right? Like I'm not going to be around you. I'm definitely not going to date you or marry you if you are a severe drinker. Like that is something that is going to be, an NO. But I will be there. I will hold your hand. However, if you smell, we have a big problem. Smell is something that is so specific. Like it's so to smell good is such a necessary thing. If you don't smell good, guys, listen to this. If you go right now and smell your armpits, okay? If you're listening to this, please smell your armpits, smell your hair, do a little breath test. I don't know what. If you smell, fix it because you're not coming to the Daily Dose of Donna meetup as a smelly Melly, right? Brad Pitt's girlfriend, Inez de Ramon, has changed his smelly ways as is claimed he has reformed months after ex-roommate Jason Priestley said he would go a long time without showering. Wow, a Brandon Walsh reference here. Did I tell you guys a story about Jason Priestley? As you guys know, I'm a huge Beverly Hills 90210 fan, and I used to watch that like addictively. I'm a big fan. Obviously, we talked about that a lot with Shannon Doherty this week. I used to take speaking about smelling, I used to take a hot spin class here in LA. It's a spin studio, still there. I don't go anymore, but it was heated. So imagine like hot yoga, which is smelly. Because if you smell and you sweat at hot yoga, the world smells, right? But it was spinning. So you're even doing intense cardio. When I tell you, you would walk out of there a pile of water. Anything you were wearing could be taken off and squeezed and just dripped water out of you. So, speaking of smelling, Jason Priestley never smelled, but we used to work out together all the time because Jason Priestley's wife, Naomi, was one of my instructors. So I would work out between Jason Priestley and Emily Valentine. Yep, you heard me right. Christine Elise McCarthy, I believe is her name. Emily Valentine from Beverly Hills 90210 and Jason Priestley are very, very close. So Jason Priestley said that Brad Pitt would go a long time without showering. What does that mean? A long time. But I guess 60-year-old Brad Pitt has finally really reformed for Ines. He used to be quite lackadaisical about taking showers and washing his hair and only wanting to use soap and water when he did shower and refusing to use deodorant or cologne. He'd often go a day or two without bathing, which is astonishing given he's such a huge sex symbol. But with Inez, it's a different story. He's gone out of his way to change his smelly ways. I just don't understand how Jennifer Aniston handled that. Like, not my Lolavie girl. How did she handle that? The actor is paying more attention to his wardrobe, letting Inez choose his cologne, and even started, I want to vomit, even started flossing his teeth at 60. What? That's gross. Now they love to go out and get pampered at the spa together, like massages and facials. He loves moisturizers and skin creams too. He's really upped his game in this area to everyone's relief. Yes, I guess Brad's former Los Angeles roommate from 1987, Beverly Hills 90210 star Jason Priestley confessed that he would go days without showering in a January appearance on Live with Kelly and Mark. Oh my God, that's so nasty. You're just now flossing? Well, let me give you guys a hint. Brad, if you're listening to this podcast, which I know you're a daily doser, I just want to remind you that this podcast is sponsored by your ex-wife's hair care product, Lolavie. Lolavie is Jennifer Aniston's most incredible, wonderful line of hair care. Let's watch a video of Jennifer Aniston showering while I talk about it. And maybe, Brad, if you're watching this on YouTube, you will also learn how to clean your body. So Jennifer Aniston created this incredible wonderful, filled with great healthy ingredients, naturally derived plant-based goodness, no silicones, sulfates, parabens, or gluten, and probably calorie-free. It's also cruelty-free and vegan. It's an in-shower trio of the restorative shampoo and conditioner, plus an intensive repair treatment. It turns your shower experience into a spa-like retreat. Post shower, you can use the glossing detangler, a perfecting leave-in and lightweight hair oil. They're a triple threat for your styling routine. These multifunctional formulas work beautifully together to prime, prep, and finish for silkier, shinier, Jennifer Aniston approved hair. So if you want to be like Jennifer Aniston and not like Brad Pitt, go to lolavie.com. That's LOLAVIE.com and use code Donna. That's DANA. That's me for 15% off your entire order. Jennifer Aniston will be proud. Brad Pitt will definitely be inspired. And we're going to want to hang out with you. So make sure to go to lolavie.com. Use code Donna for 15% off. Thanks, Brad, for grossing us out on this Thursday morning. Let's get into the next story. Alec Baldwin. Alec Baldwin, I just saw this, is now planning on countersuing. He's essentially planning to sue the officials for withholding evidence from the Rust trial. It's crazy. It's like the stories that just won't go away. Scandival, Alec Baldwin. What do you guys think about this? Let's read about it together and we can decide if we agree with it or not, if we think it's a good move. Alec Baldwin is planning on suing a prosecutor and a sheriff involved in the trial. He was accused of killing cinematographer Helena Hutchins in 2021, but prosecutors and cops withheld evidence from the trial. He is because of okay. They withheld evidence from his defense team during their failed bid to prosecute him over the fatal shooting. As you guys know, on Friday, the charges were dismissed last week after the judge agreed that the prosecutor and Santa Fe County Sheriff Adon Mendoza withheld evidence. And the evidence came from a man who dropped it off at the sheriff's office in March, more than 2 years after the shooting, who said it may be relevant, but investigators believed it was unrelated and unimportant and did not disclose it to Baldwin's team. His lawyers sent letters to Morrissey and Mendoza asking them to preserve documents for future litigation. Yes, so Santa Fe County Sheriff's Office has confirmed that it received the letter from Baldwin's legal team. And at this point, it's probably what's going to happen is, oh, and by the way, Hannah Gutierrez, the armorer on the case who was sentenced to 18 months in prison, who I believe is well, I don't know only, but definitely should be held guilty for this crime because that's who, in my opinion, is responsible. She is also filing a motion for dismissal of charges because of the disclosing of evidence, which is just really crazy. I mean, why would he countersue? I would imagine it's a couple things. Number one, it is financial. I'm sure Alec Baldwin could use extra money because he has 47 kids, but not only that, he probably spent a large amount of money on this case. And number two, it's more, I mean, look, I'm sure Emily D. Baker probably is covering this really well, but I would imagine it's like a principal feeling. It's like, you really tried to screw me here, so let me try to screw you back. I don't know. I could be wrong. Lori brings up a really good point. She says, if he gets money, he should give it to the victim's family. And I absolutely feel like that's the case. Now, let's talk about really fast about Rust, the movie. I was not aware of this, but Lance told me that there's a plan. The plan is that this movie will still be released, which I don't know how that's possible or if it's possible because I don't believe they finished filming at all. But I did hear that the movie is still planning on being produced so that the proceeds of the movie and, the money that the movie can make in profit can go to Helena's family. I don't know. I mean, that is just the most sad part about this is that we really do have a child without his mother and a man without his wife. And then, of course, family without her. So real sad. It's just the story that never ends. Okay. Next story. Like I told you, we got a lot of small but good, interesting stories. Christina and Josh Hall. I talked about this yesterday with you guys about the fact that she is now getting divorced again. Josh Hall and her are, he filed for divorce. I don't know if she also filed, but I know he did. They were married in 2021 or two, something along those lines. But what we did talk about yesterday was the fact that they had just finished filming a show together called The Flip Off with her ex, Tarek El Moussa, and his current wife, Heather Ray from Selling Sunset. And so the four of them were going to be on the show together. But now, according to Daily Mail today, Christina Hall's estranged husband and Josh is being cut from their spinoff show, The Flip Off, with her ex, Tarek El Moussa, and new wife, Heather. I don't know how in the world they're going to do this. The blonde is still scheduled to work with him and with Tarek and Heather Ray. But after Josh filed for divorce this week, the show is now moving ahead without him. So I guess they're still in production of The Flip Off. Apparently, I guess they just really shot some promotional material. They didn't shoot the majority of the actual show, but she is trying to get him out of the show. And I guess the show is moving without him. I would imagine that she's probably a producer. Maybe Tarek is a producer too. I don't know. So they're moving the show forward without him. They cited irreconcilable differences. We talked about that yesterday. The former couple disagree on the actual date of separation. Christina listed the separation date as July 7th, but Josh stated it as July 8th. Guys, we've got some big disagreements in that house. I don't know how in the world she's going to be able to do the show without him. I have no idea really the setup of the show, but it does feel a little crazy that the show's, whole dynamic was surrounded by these two couples kind of like, fighting each other in their flips. So we'll have to see how that works. Maybe it'll be a big part of it. Maybe Alec Baldwin will show up in that, if they need a fourth. She'll probably be married to another man by the time the show airs, and they'll just like throw him in there, right? Okay, we've got crazy stories. Another one. Let's talk about just like wham bam, thank you, ma'am. Real Housewives of New Jersey reunion. Now we know that reunion was canceled. We're all very aware of that. However, we did get some information on what they're planning on doing for the reunion, which is actually, it's going to be a watch party. Because remember, I think Teresa was saying like, no, we're doing something. We have something planned. Well, Andy Cohen's not involved in it. So it's not an Andy Cohen like produced event whatsoever. Basically, what they're planning on doing is they already did this. They taped a watch party without Andy Cohen at, where else? Rails, the restaurant that they always go to. Bravo cameras were rolling. And all of the women, minus their husbands and Andy Cohen, watched the season 14 finale episode at Rails Steakhouse in Towako, New Jersey. They also had the season 13 finale there. And the special will air August 11th following the finale. It will likely be the last time this irreparably divided group ever convenes before they are rumored to be replaced with an entirely new cast, like the Real Housewives of New York City. Separate rooms were 100% required as Team Teresa, including Jennifer Aiden and Jackie Goldschneider, took over one room. Team Melissa took over the other room, allegedly, with Margaret Josephs, Rachel Fuda, Danielle Cabral, and Jennifer Fessler. I would imagine that Jennifer and Dolores were just running back and forth from room to room. Dolores managed to divide her time between both rooms. I'm surprised Jennifer Fessler is on Team Melissa. Aren't you guys surprised by that? I feel like Jennifer Fessler would be over in the with Jackie. She does a podcast with Jackie. Don't they still do that podcast, 2Js or whatever? Insiders told the magazine that there will be a surprise resolution and at least one major revelation that sent shockwaves through both rooms. Teresa's pregnant. Just kidding. I don't know. It's not the moment Teresa has long claimed that will leave her vindicated. As for the actual season 14 finale episode, um, in which a glass pitcher thrown between Jennifer and Danielle. Andy called it one of those classic Jersey finales that people will be talking about for a long time to come. I feel like that's Andy's thing for everything. You guys have to watch this. It's incredible. It's amazing. You're definitely going to have to watch this. Oh my God, it's so good. It's so good. I don't know. The next episode is titled Sleepover with One Eye Open, and it will be on Sunday. I actually really don't mind the season of Real Housewives of New Jersey. I don't know if it's because it's fine and good or it's because there's nothing else on TV that we're just loving it because there's nothing else to watch, you know? But I don't know. I find it interesting. Now, where do we go next? Let's try. I always try to kind of like snake from show to show. I mean, from story to story so that it makes sense. Because I mentioned Andy Cohen, let's talk about Watch What Happens Live. Kate Hudson was on Watch What Happens Live yesterday. You guys, the way I love Kate Hudson, does anyone else feel that way about her? I love her. I find her so incredibly beautiful. I think she's actually, in my opinion, Kate Hudson to me is like, I think the prettiest celebrity for me. I don't know why. I just think she's just so warm and fuzzy and sweet and like talented and just smiley. And I don't know why. I love her. I love her energy. I love her style. I love her mom, Goldie Hawn. Are you kidding? But she was on Watch What Happens Live and she opened up about dating Nick Jonas when she was 36 years old and he was 23. She's now 45, so this was almost 10 years ago. But in 2015, her and Jonas were spotted spending the day at Disney World and partying in New York City, but they never confirmed that they were dating. But on Wednesday's Watch What Happens Live last night, Kate Hudson, during the Plead the Fifth segment was asked by him in 2015-16, there were countless rumors about you dating Nick Jonas, which you skirted around. Looking about it now, how would you characterize that relationship? And she said, a moment, lovely, fun kind. He's like an old man in a young body and we love him. So she definitely dated him, which is really, really funny. Because when I think about Nick Jonas, I think of like a little kid. Do you guys feel that way too? I feel like he's just like it's like a little boy. So I think it's kind of fun that she dated him, which kind of reminds me of like back in the day when Cameron Diaz was dating Justin Timberlake. That also felt so like older woman, younger boy to me. An LA moment that I had a few years back. I wonder what year that was that Cameron Diaz dated? Cameron Diaz, Justin. They broke up there was an article that they broke up in 2007. So they were together for 4 years. So 2003 to 2007 or 2002 to 2006. I was God, that was so many years ago. I was working in casting. I just graduated college and I moved back to Los Angeles and I was living right by Runyon Canyon, which if you know Runyon Canyon, if you know like LA, Hollywood Hills area, that's where I lived. And right down the street on Fairfax and Sunset was a restaurant called The Griddle. And it's a really popular breakfast spot. I'm assuming it's still there, but I don't live near that area. So I have no idea. I haven't even heard of it recently. But it was so popular at the time because they had just amazing food, pancakes this big. People would just line up. Like you would never be able to get a table Monday through Sunday. And I remember sitting in there with some girlfriends and seeing Jennifer Aniston and Justin Timberlake Cameron Diaz and Justin Timberlake right next to me. And I was so like, oh my God, I couldn't even believe. Okay, Anne-Marie, we're going to get into that story in just a second, but I didn't hear that story, but we'll know. Okay, we'll find out in just a second. Send if you have any information, but we'll get there. So anyway, I think it's kind of funny about Kate Hudson dating Nick Jonas. It's so cute. Like, go Nick for being able to score that. All right, let's move on to another story that is kind of being talked about a lot in the comments right now, and that is about Brittany Cartwright. Well, I am going to tell you, I'm seeing in the comments, but I have no idea if this is true or not. So we'll have to do our research. But allegedly, Brittany Cartwright and Jax Taylor finalized their divorce 2 days ago. I kind of don't believe that that's the case because I feel like we would all know because TMZ would be on that shit in 2 seconds, just like they are Kim and Croy. If you filed for divorce, we would know about it. And here in California, especially with assets and stuff, there is absolutely no way that Brittany and Jax could have filed and settled a divorce that fast, like, and without us knowing. I don't believe that that's the case. I do believe that they're separated. I'm sure we're going to see more this next season on the Valley, but she's still going to Jax's, like she's still hanging out with him, etc. However, this is a story that I saw last night before I went to bed, and I was so interested in it. And it's about Brittany Cartwright and the IRS, which is never a good thing, right? When you have your name and the IRS in the same sentence, it's usually not a very good sign. According to Daily Mail and multiple other sources, Brittany Cartwright is slapped with a $35,000 state tax lien on the $1.9 million Los Angeles home she was forced to move out of amid separation from ex Jax Taylor. Number one, she was not forced to move out of this house. She chose to move out. We all know that, right? Like she was not forced. He didn't force her out. She chose. But the lien on the home was filed on June 12th, 2024. So this has been going on for a while. I don't know if she's paid it off since then or not. She is living in an Airbnb following her separation from Jax. Okay. Documents obtained by Daily Mail reveal a state tax lien has been placed on the couple's home. It was filed in the amount of $35,239. Now, when you have a tax lien on your home, it's usually because you owe money, but it may not be on the house. Okay. We don't know specifically what. I'm just looking to make sure that I don't say the information wrong about the taxes. What we know about their money, all we know is that Brittany definitely pays money too in that house. And she apparently, apparently from what she said on Not Skinny But Not Fat podcast, she still pays bills in their home. She put down as much money as Jax to buy the property. Jax pays the mortgage. She says, I pay the bills. We have everything split up. So my question for you guys is, okay, we have some tax people in the comments, which I love. If you get a tax lien on your home, does that mean that you owe that money because you haven't paid property taxes on your home? Or is it that you owe that money in state taxes because of income tax, et cetera, and they put the lien on your home so that you essentially owe that money out of that house? I don't know specifically what is which. Okay, Michelle says she can explain it. She works for a taxing agency in California, so maybe I'll get more information and be able to kind of send it over to you guys or learn more. But I think my guess, according to what Michelle said, Brittany most likely filed married/single on her personal income taxes with the franchise tax board and either didn't pay, never filed, or was audited and billed. So this sounds like a personal tax delay, like she hasn't been paying her taxes. And if that's the case, then you can file a lien on the property, which essentially puts now the pressure on the property to pay the taxes back. Okay. One of the things that I will never, ever fully understand in life is taxes. If you guys do understand taxes, like you were blessed with a really good, smart gene. I hire an accountant to handle my taxes I pay my taxes, but I hire an accountant to just tell me what to do because it's so confusing, especially if you have multiple income streams, which I do and Lance does. And if you work in the industry, especially if you're a creator, a content creator, if you're in a creative industry like they are, your income's coming in from so many different places. You're getting W-2s and 1099s and so many different things. So because of that, you will, it's confusing. It's confusing. I think it's a lot easier to pay taxes if you have one salary, you work for one person and you get a salary and they take money out for taxes, et cetera, then that's it. But when you're in the creative position, like a lot of us are, you get paid a certain amount, then you have to file, you get a 1099 and then you have to pay back taxes. It's a lot. It's a lot and it's very confusing. And Lance, at the end of an average year when he's working on shows, gets probably anywhere between 15 and 30 W-2s to send to our accountant. So it's really a lot of like organization. You have to have someone that's on your shit. And so it's very possible that either she didn't pay her taxes on time, but as Michelle, my resident tax expert, she's not only a Bravo historian, she's also a resident tax expert, says even her tax preparer could have made a mistake and her returns were filed and she ended up owing more. But I have owed taxes before. Like there was a time in my early 20s when I owed some money in taxes and I didn't pay it like on time. And about a year later, 2 years later, I got a bill saying like, you still owe this money. No one had put a lien on anything. So I'm surprised that at $35,000, they're already putting a lien on her home, unless they've been trying to kind of collect this money forever. It feels like what you do when you owe a bill to, a service provider or a doctor and you don't pay and you don't pay and you don't pay and you don't pay. And then all of a sudden it says like, we're sending this to collections. I feel like a lien on a home is like at collections level. Like it's bad. It's really bad to go to the place of a lien on your home. So I will be I'll be like reading up on this a little bit more and maybe Michelle will give me a more information on this, but I was confused last night because when I first saw that I thought, is her name the only name on the house? But I didn't realize that it was actually probably personal income tax that is, they're taking it out on the house. So now so what a lien means that if you sell your house, if she sells their house, that money immediately goes to the IRS or the state before they can take any personal income out of it. She's like, you're basically guaranteeing that you're going to pay it out. Michelle does say there's thresholds for us to file liens. We can't file a lien if you owe $1,000. So I wonder what the amount is and then like where do you go to a lien? And as Maddie says, there can be mistakes. We had it and just made the extra payment, no lien. That's how I feel too. I literally had I got a letter in the mail saying you still owe this amount to the IRS. I quickly wrote a check and done. No one came after my personal property. So I'm always really interested about that and why not only did she get the lien on her house, but now it's public knowledge. It's really embarrassing. So I really hope that she has, finally sold or paid back. Maybe she sold her the succulent wall off Jax's. I don't know. But Jax is not the number one guy in the group. We can just say that. It has nothing to do with the story, but we can just always say that Jax is just not the number one guy in the group, right? We can all agree on that. And it's also interesting that this lien was filed in June 12th and it's now coming out now. Like someone found it and leaked it. That's why I'm saying if there was any sort of divorce filing or anything, like we would know that 2 seconds after. TMZ has their alerts on for celebrity divorce filings. It's crazy. Speaking of divorce, just kidding. This is not a divorce yet. Kyle Cooke. Did you guys hear about this? Kyle Cooke, when he was at a DJ event, because you guys know that now Kyle Cooke is a full DJ. It's so interesting what has happened here with Kyle's career. He just in jest, I thought, sarcastically, said on last season of Summer House, while so mad at Amanda because she, God forbid, wanted to start her own business. He was like, well, I guess if we do that, I'm just going to be a DJ. And as we know, he then talked about it on the after show saying, I started going to DJ classes. I DJ now. And now every single scene that we see him, in the public, every Loverboy event, he's behind the DJ stands and he's selling Loverboy and he's DJing and he's trying to kind of like, I guess, you know, get both sides of the pie. He's throwing these events. He's getting hired by these big events, to be the DJ / being able to promote Loverboy. I would actually believe it's probably a good move for Loverboy. I'll tell you guys, you know how I never can find Loverboy in stores? I always look. If I'm at Whole Foods, if I'm at, Ralph's, if I'm at Bevmo, I will always look to see if I can find Loverboy. And I was shopping this weekend because we were having a pool party and I went into the supermarket aisle where they have the alcohol and I finally saw Loverboy. And it was a wine spritz. It was like their Cosmopolitan spritz or, Cosmopolitan bubbly, whatever they call it. And I looked at it and I went to go grab it because I'm like, oh, I finally found Loverboy. And I went to go grab it. And then I was like, why? It's going to be bad. I have still never tasted a Loverboy that I enjoy. Never once. I heard from you guys that the espresso martinis are just horrible. I think the limoncello maybe is the only one that's good, but this was a Cosmopolitan, which I would never order anyway. Like I would be the last person to order a Cosmo at a bar. It's just not my kind of a drink. So I also saw that it's 4 very, very small cans for like $24. I was like, no, that's a no for me. So he's probably smart. But anyway, he was DJing just recently. I don't know if it was last night or the night before. And someone took video of him announcing to the whole crowd, Amanda is finally working on her swim line. And the crowd went insane. Wow, scream, scream, scream. And then he says, I can't believe I didn't record that. I want to record it now. Let me record Amanda. Let me record your guys' reaction to this. So he said it again and everyone went wild. And I have a real honest question for you. Do you believe that Kyle Cooke is supportive of Amanda in the bathing suit line? Or do you believe Kyle Cooke is worried about his public image? Which one do you think is really upsetting him here? I think it's a public image rehab. I support my wife. I support Amanda. I love my wife and I will do anything to keep her happy. I don't know. I'd like to actually see Amanda come up with this because at some point you start to wonder, like, is it Amanda or not? Is like, what is the problem? Is it Amanda or not? All right, everyone take a stretch because we still have more stories. I told you this was a big one. I mean, my story list is 400 things. What do we want to talk about next? Let's talk about Ariana Madix. We've got other stories, but let's go to the Ariana Madix of it all. Ariana at 37 minutes, because that's my lucky number. Ariana Madix and Katie Maloney, not just Ariana, are now being sued by the ex-business partner, Chef Penny. I knew this was going to come. I think everyone knew something was going to happen. I was DMing with Penny during the season and I asked, what's going on with you? Why aren't you on the show? What's happening? Because remember, she was on the show this season. She was in the one episode for when she was having the conversation about hiring. Do you guys remember that? It was when everyone was up in Big Bear except Ariana and Katie, and they were sitting with Penny and interviewing people. Penny was in that episode. I don't remember seeing Penny in many other scenes this last season, but she is now also suing Ariana. A lot of people immediately are saying, oh my God, everyone's taking advantage of Ariana because now she's doing well. I don't think this is the case in this one. I have to be honest. I personally don't think this is like, let's go after Ariana specifically, because I think this was probably a long time coming. Clearly, they were having some issues. We had heard all this rumblings. I do believe that this was a big part of the holdup of why something about her didn't open on time. I actually believe that I don't know what's happening in the comments, but I'm like, I just want to make sure. Okay. So, all right. So basically, Ariana now has 3 lawsuits against her. Rachel Leviss, her ex Tom Shitaval, and now Chef Penny DeViti. But this is also against Katie Maloney. This is a business-related lawsuit, but it says in new legal docs obtained by TMZ, Ariana and her co-star are accused of reneging on a business agreement surrounding their popular sandwich shop, Something About Her. According to Penny DeViti Borsak, who filed the documents, Ariana and Katie failed to uphold their end of the agreement when she took on the role of COO/director of culinary at the West Hollywood restaurant. So in June 2023, as Penny put this, in June 2023, she was promised a 10% partnership if she helped develop and operate Something About Her. Because of this promise, Penny stated she performed substantial work to bring Something About Her to life, including filing trademarks for the company. She was supposed to be paid $7,500 a month until January, and then her rate was then supposed to be increased to $10,000 a month. However, she has alleged that both Ariana and Katie have since denied the existence of a partnership. She says there's plenty of evidence to back up her claims. She has some text messages, but from what I'm reading, she doesn't have a very, very clear contract in place. And when you don't have a contract in place, it's just hearsay. If it was a verbal agreement, etc. I believe in my, and I did not watch, I didn't watch Top Chef with Penny, so I hear she was pretty like horrible on that show, but I don't know if that's true. But if this is not in writing and it was just a verbal agreement, it's a she said story. I do believe that they brought Penny on for some sort of partnership, whether it was an official partnership or we're hiring you to work for us. They clearly had Penny in the kitchen the entire time that first season when they were formulating the menu for the first tasting. They clearly had Penny be part of the hiring process. There was a moment there where Penny was a part of this project. However, I would imagine either she became too controlling, she became annoying, she became difficult. Something happened where Ariana and Katie decided to cut ties, like they didn't need her anymore. If that's the case, I'm curious, did Penny get paid any salary whatsoever? Did she get like a fee for being part of the menu planning in the beginning, the collaboration, the consulting, etc.? If that's the case, I think she's fine. If she didn't get paid at all for any of the things that she did for them, I think you have a bigger problem. I think that there is now video proof and probably text proof that she was obviously involved. But it's interesting that her attorneys would go this far and decide that there's actually a lawsuit there when there's nothing formally in writing. And if that's the case, I worry that she doesn't have a case. But like I said, why would an attorney take this on unless they thought she had a case? So it could be just going after Ariana because now Ariana is financially really well off, or it could be an actual business decision where it feels like she got screwed out of a potential huge money-making business. Something About Her. I mean, she filed the trademark for Something About Her. Her husband did, I believe, or someone on her team did for Katie and Ariana. Like they were in cahoots together for a while. So I will be interested. Michelle says, we knew something was up when she trademarked the name, but she did release a text message. I don't know if you saw this. I'm sure you did, that she has a text message between Katie and Ariana and her where she's texting Katie and saying, has anyone trademarked Something About Her? I can get on that for us. And Katie said, okay. So I don't think that was like a personal decision to try to take it away from them. I think she truly, from my impression, reading on that, it did feel like she was trying to help them as like a team. I wouldn't be surprised, and I know that this is the unpopular opinion because if you go against Ariana in any way or Katie now, you're immediately like looked at as a bad person. But if you subbed in Ariana and Katie and put in like Sheena and Lala, or put in Tom and Tom and the same lawsuit was happening, I wonder if you would look at it a little differently. Like, are we so quick to believe that Ariana and Katie were in the right because you like them as people, or do you actually look at this as a business thing? Because if Ariana and Katie brought her on and very clearly had her be a huge part of the recipe development and the collaboration and the planning, and then all of a sudden it went away, like they just ghosted her basically, according to Penny, that's shitty. It's shitty to do. So I don't know. We'll have to see what happens there. But the show obviously is not filming right now. So we're never going to see. We're just going to, I mean, there's no way they're coming back to the show, you guys, especially after yesterday. I think it was a nail in the coffin for Vanderpump Rules in the form that it is in. But of course, the public really, really doesn't like anyone against Ariana and Katie. So I think the public is going to go like they're going to be on Team Ariana on this one. But actually, if you just look at it from a business perspective, and if they did in fact ghost her and like kind of just push her out, that is shitty. It is shitty, you know? So I guess the trademark situation, I guess she trademarked it under her name. Now, I don't know I don't know the story behind the trademark. I just know that I saw the text message between her and Katie saying, "Have you guys trademarked? If so, I can get Josh to do it." I don't know who Josh is. I don't know if it's her husband. I don't know if it's her attorney. I don't know if it's her best friend. No idea. Maybe it's Josh Hall from Christina and Josh Hall. Anyway, poor Ariana, because she's getting a 1, 2, 3 punch, and I really hope she has good attorneys, which it sounds like she does, and I hope she can, make it out of this without paying too much of her personal money, and I also hope that, she does Love Island forever. By the way, you guys, let's turn this into a Love Island conversation. There's no recap because there was no episode yesterday, but y'all, if you're a Love Island watcher, this is going to be so interesting because tonight we have Kaylor and Aaron getting their call to home. Remember, they won a competition where they get the call that they can have a video call with their parents. And also Serena and Cordell. They gave Serena and Cordell and Nicole and Kendall the option to have these calls. So the 3 couples are going to have their video calls, I imagine, on tonight's show. But let me show you my friend Morgan. Let me pull this up because this is something she covers really well on her Instagram. I saw this post on our Facebook group too. By the way, if you're not on the Daily Dose of Donna Facebook group, why? Why not? It's so fun over there. Morgan mentioned on her Instagram today about the drama. So Kaylor's mom is very open on Facebook and she has a public profile and she's been talking about it. And so here is Morgan describing the whole story. And it makes me wonder, is tonight going to be bad for Aaron? Let's check it out.
I see tonight on Love Island because Kaylor's mom does not like Aaron and they just won videos from home. In new viral posts from Kaylor's mom, she is making it very clear that she does not think Aaron deserves her daughter Kaylor. Kaylor's mom has been letting it all out on her Facebook, which this is a public post. You can pause to read, but the middle part is what sticks out to me. Honestly, I was shocked initially when you selected Aaron for a courtship. The absence of physical traits, appearance you'd otherwise insist on or must have prior to considering date potential. And even more astounding, his fragile emotional dysfunction, a caveat to verbal outbursts, tantrums, utter disrespect, and consistent crying bouts reminiscent of a hormonal teenage boy.
Ouch.
Sincere concern. Just saying. This is clearly after a Casa Amor episode. She wrote another post 2 days later saying it's going to be okay in God's time. Baby girl, you'll find your love, your best friend, a man that would ride or die for you, a man that is selfless, only concerned with your needs, desires, wishes, and forget about their own self. It's not hard to find a loyal man. Sadly for you, the man I'm talking about is not Aaron. He's a boy.
Ooh.
So what do you think Kaylor's videos from home are going to say?
So now remember a couple moments here. I remember being in Ventura, Oxnard area on 4th of July weekend, July 5th specifically, was a Friday, watching the Casa Amor episodes. And that was the episodes when we first saw Kaylor start to get emotional and sad over Aaron. This was the first of many, 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 many times she started to cry. But in that weekend, Aaron really came off like a POS, right? He really did, because he was at Casa Amor and he was hooking up with Daniela. And Kaylor was back in the villa really sad. So the messages that we saw on Facebook were from July 5th and July 6th, like right at that time. So I don't know if Kaylor's mom specifically was feeling, that way then, and has since changed her tune since she saw him come back from Casa and like really apologize to Kaylor and give her a seashell necklace and ask her to be his girlfriend. I have no idea. We'll have to see specifically what the situation is, but I would love if Kaylor was like, "Mom, this is Aaron. Fuck." And Aaron was like, "Hello, Mrs. Kayla." And Kaylor's mom was like, "You are a loser." I would love that. But I have a feeling it's not going to happen. I have a feeling that, you know, we'll have to see. Do they have phone calls with their family individually, or do they do couple phone calls with the family so that they get to meet each other? Because that's going to be a big game changer too. If Kaylor can talk to her mom one-on-one, maybe her mom will give her some more insight. But if Kaylor has a conversation with her mom and Aaron at the same time, then most likely it's not going to be a very good sign for her getting the entire information. So can't wait for that tonight on Love Island. Okay, a couple more stories. Paris and Nicole. Are we interested in this whatsoever? I'm not personally, but I talk about it for you guys because I would assume that you guys are. I don't know. You tell me. Paris and Nicole are teaming up. We've talked about this before, for some sort of a connection again, some sort of a show after their Simple Life success. But we finally got a little bit more information because as of last night, they were reuniting for a girls' night out. Following news of an impending Simple Life reunion special, Paris and Nicole got back together last night for what seemed to be the first bit of filming for their new show. Nicole Richie shared a mirror selfie to her Instagram story next to Paris. Richie sported a cutout strapless top and jeans, and Paris Hilton opted for a black dress and her signature platinum hair. Apparently, they're not bringing their Y2K fashion back for the reunion. The House of Harlow designer, that's Nicole, captioned the post with the phrase, "Happy Hump Day." Paris Hilton also went to her Instagram account, shared an update that she just got back from shooting with Nicole, and that she and Nicole planned something very special in honor of the Simple Life's 20-year anniversary. The two of them were on the outs for many, many, many years. And then now they're obviously back together. They're planning something that will be fun. So who knows? Are you guys interested? I liked The Simple Life for what it was at the time. I don't know if I could watch it again. I don't like I feel like I kind of just got over it, you know? Nicole Richie is a really interesting person to me though. She really like kind of fell off public radar for so long, but I like her. I think Nicole Richie is very pretty. I think she's very funny. I think she's got like a very cool style. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what happens with the two of them, but Paris, after watching the Paris reality show, Paris in Love, I struggle. Majorly struggle with Paris Hilton after watching that. It's going to be tough to like ever be able to get some of those scenes out of my mind. It was not an easy watch for me, for a lot of us, right? Oh my gosh. Tamra, tonight is another episode of Real Housewives of OC. Can't come soon enough. Love that show. I'm excited to watch it. But on Tamra was talking to Extra and she got emotional talking about Shanno Beador. So let's watch what Tamra said. This is from Bywig, Hello Drama on Instagram. They cut it for us so we can watch it together.
How you doing? It's unfortunate that everything that went down, and I was very good friends with Shannon for 10 years. And I know Shannon better than anybody knows Shannon. When Shannon got the DUI, I was on my way, when it was announced, I was on my way to do Traders. So it was on my way to go to Scotland. We were on the phone, we were crying together. It's hard.
Yeah.
She was a really good friend. And I mean, we were very, very close. And I worried that something like this would happen to her. And it did. And I'm just glad that nobody got hurt. But I felt like it was finally my time to be able to be very honest with her and tell her, listen, you need help.
Yeah.
You've been on the show for 10 years. Every year somebody has talked about your drinking. It is time to stop. And she did not take it that well that I said that. And I had to back out of the Tracy Miga show for several reasons. One, I'm extremely busy, so it was hard for me to commit to so many tour dates, but also because she was still drinking. And I thought, I'm not going to be that friend that's going to enable you, because you know what? This time, nobody got hurt. But next time, if there's a next time, I'm not going to be one of those people that are like, oh, you're okay. Don't worry. You can have a few drinks. I don't want to be involved in that.
Had you had conversations with her before where you had expressed concern about her drinking?
Yeah.
Of course.
And
okay. How incredibly uncomfortable must that be for Shannon to have people openly, constantly communicating about her alcoholism, her drinking, her alleged alcoholism. I should say her drinking. It's got to be, because at the end of the day, if you think about alcoholism, those of you that are here and are sober or have, family and friends who are alcoholics, I do too, right? Alcoholism is a disease. It's not a choice. It's a disease. And so I understand. It does feel like it's a choice to try to get sober. It's a choice to get healthy. And they feel like she's not making that choice. And so that part is frustrating. It's like if you are, sick and you have a tumor, but you're choosing not to go get help. You're choosing not to go to the doctor. So it gets frustrating. There's a reason why Shannon never has a good season. There's a reason. Like, she has good moments. She has fun moments. She has great episodes. She's definitely iconic in a lot of her moments, but she literally has never had a good season. Never once since she's been on the show. Her first season, she had the big drama with Heather Dubrow. Then, of course, it was the affair with David. Then it was the weight gain and all of that. Then, of course, it was the drinking. Then the John Jansen. Then the fights that paralyzed me. And then, of course, now the DUI. It's like it's non-stop with Shannon. And sometimes you do have to look at people who are constantly not trying to be dramatic. Like, I think Tamra looks for drama. She chooses to get into the drama because she knows it makes good TV. But when you're just who you are and the drama literally is attached to you, that makes me worried about who you are. I do believe that Shannon has not really fully, from what we're seeing, the fact that she hit a car driving drunk, had a face that was blooded up like we saw in the trailer. Her dog was injured. She broke her arm. She lost her license. She's in classes, this and that, and she's still drinking. It does make you question, we need that rock bottom moment. That should have been a rock bottom moment. For me, it would have been. I think it would be forever. And it's not like a one-time thing, right? It's not like she's someone that doesn't really drink and then she fucked up. This was a big, 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 this is a conversation every season. We've seen her drink from the beginning. The fact that she has on camera her needing to overdrink vodka so that she can have a romantic night with her husband. Look, we may have all been there before when you're on a date and you're like, oh my God, I need to loosen up or whatever. But this is your husband and you're on camera. There's so many things wrong with that. So I worry a little bit about her with her denial in that process. Because can you imagine going back to the show and shooting, drinking again right after this happened to you in a public setting? Like, if you can't even not drink on the show, because one thing it's like, okay, do it in private or whatever, but she's being filmed and she's in public and she's drinking. So like, it's not something she's able to stop. She's doing it at the Trace Amiga shows. Remember, they did a show right after and she was doing it according to Tamra. She was pouring it into her Diet Coke. So it's really bad, you guys. Do I think Tamra's a good friend? No, I think we've seen her through the years really kind of like flip-flop. She hates Heather one season, she likes Heather the next season. She hates this person, she likes this person. I imagine she's probably a better friend in real life, but I think no, on the show, I don't believe she's a good friend. I wouldn't say she is. I don't think anyone ever would think that. Anyway, we will see what happens. Okay, I'm going to cut it here. We do have a story about Bethany and Paul, her ex, and his now ex-girlfriend, Aurora Culpo. They were spotted together a couple weeks ago at her sister Olivia Culpo's wedding. And I spent an hour yesterday listening to Aurora's podcast. It's called Barely Filtered, to hear about her side of the story, finding out about Bethany's losing her mind around the relationship. It will be real interesting to see. I'll talk about that later. I think maybe I'll add it to tomorrow's show, or I'll get into it on Patreon, or we'll talk about it at the happy hour or something. We'll see. Meanwhile, tonight, Real Housewives of OC, another Big Brother. I'm pretty sure it's tonight is second episode. I was pissed off at Big Brother last night. Pissed. I was pissed. I was so pissed. Okay. And it's so funny because someone said earlier that Tamra says it's disgusting. It is disgusting. I was pissed and it's disgusting because last night I was so excited. 9 p.m. Home alone. Kids are at camp. Lance is at the LAFC game. Home freaking alone. 9 o'clock. Big Brother. Guess what I had to watch for 25 goddamn minutes? It was Price is Right. Did any of you guys have that in your homes? What was that? I kept thinking I was like on crack. I was like, why is the Price is Right on at 9 p.m.? It says Big Brother. It says Big Brother. Drew Carey looks like he's half dead. Okay. He's walking around so quiet, so sleepy. Like, where's Drew Carey's personality? Where did he go? And why can't we see the Big Brother show that I tuned in for? Well, Big Brother did eventually start at like around 9:30. I have a couple thoughts. The girl who is the AI girl, we only got to meet the first 8 people and they did a challenge and it was a little boring, to be honest. But they have an AI character. Her name is Ainsley. Whoever, I need to find out who she is. Because I don't know if you guys felt this way or do I just have an experience. I know her. The girl who was the fake, like new house guest and then turned into AI. I know her. And I don't know how I know her. Do you guys know her? Is this like a joint thing? Or do I just know her? Also, for those of you that were on Price is Right last night, you bet on a car plus like 30 other things for $30,000. Guys, it's not 1986. No car is going to be that cheap. It really bothered. I was very upset. I was very upset about Price is Right. But tonight we'll be watching the next episode of Big Brother. We'll be watching OC and of course Love Island. Can't wait. I hope you guys have an incredible Thursday. Thank you so much for subscribing, for being here, for loving on the show, supporting Daily Dose of Donna. Join the Patreon, join members only. Hook a sister up. Talk to you guys later. Bye.